serious strat hiding.
Wow. Wow.
Now, we can talk about it as strat hiding, or we can talk about it as a region. Latin America don't tend to play a lot of Kafe.
They don't.
It isn't something that we see. Yesterday, we saw two Latin American teams face off against each other, NIP and FaZe, and we saw Kafe as the first pick. It was a 7-5 to NIP. It wasn't so clear-cut. There was some wacky things that were being brought, Demo. And I'm not saying that's necessarily going to translate into here, but I'm not expecting to see a normal, air quotes, Kafe.
We haven't seen a clean Kafe. You know, where we've seen player times, especially in Europe, where it's very favored. We see like 7-2, 7-1s come out. You know a team is good if they manage to pull that off. I think just because it was NIP and FaZe were probably the most audacious team I think I've seen play at this tournament, you're expecting to get that craziness in that matchup. In this one, though, where it is, of course, region versus region, not team versus team from the same region, it's going to be a little bit different. Empire, in terms of Kafe, this is probably their second best map behind Clubhouse.
Bans coming out. Now, Liquid taking away the Kali, the Thatcher as well being removed. Puts a bit of pressure onto those denial operators.
Interesting ban.
Yeah, the Wamai coming out there. I mean, that's pretty par for the course, isn't it? You expect to see a Wamai ban. I mean, pretty much, you can say that pretty much everywhere, but especially so on Kafe.
Yeah, the Kali ban. It is strange to see it whenever there's operators, perhaps like Nomad still available. You know, teams I think like Liquid would like to be able to use and abuse the runouts that you can have. So a little bit surprised we're not seeing that banned away. And yeah, Kali definitely a bit of a head scratcher. The only thing that I can really think of is with the Thatcher ban, teams would bring Kali. I mean, Kali and Kafe, we've definitely seen that before. But have we seen it enough to worthy a ban?
Empire going to start us off on the defense here, taking us straight up to that top floor. Nothing too groundbreaking in terms of picks. We've got quite a bit of denial on the side of Empire, as I guess you would expect with the way that the bans have come through. The Valkyrie ban, I mean, we've seen it that many times, we can almost go over it without mentioning it, but Valkyrie here on this map, so powerful. No real surprise to see Empire are going to be taking that one away as well. Just trying to limit and reduce some of that information. Instead, they are going to turn to bringing a bulletproof on the Jaeger. It's going to give them a little bit of something along with those Maestro cameras.
So, Empire versus Liquid. This matchup, Ollie. Of course, we've seen it inside of the group stages where Empire had the bragging rights inside of that game. So is that a bit of confidence perhaps on the side of Empire, knowing that we beat them once? Can we do it again? And the only other time we have seen both these sides face off against each other was Invitational 2019 in the quarterfinals. The core of both sides still here today, so there is a bit of history between both of them. And Empire, again, had the bragging rights over Liquid. This right now is redemption for Liquid and can finally say, hey, we've beaten this team. And it's a bit strange to see Liquid. They haven't beat nearly every single team in the game. They've been around for so long, it looks as if they beat everyone, but Empire is a team that they have not cracked.
These two teams as well, it's worth mentioning, coming off lightningly quick wins yesterday. They both played a game each, they both got a 2-0, and they didn't lose 6 rounds between them, Demo. It was 6 rounds that they lost between them. They didn't even lose 7 rounds between them inside of those 2-0s. So both of these teams are really storming their way through this lower bracket, and now we see the Juggernauts coming head-to-head. Now, it's a slower start here from Liquid, as you would really expect with Kafe. It's kind of seldom that anything really significant happens, especially when you're attacking this top floor in the first 40 or even as long as a minute. So it can really be one of those maps that takes a while to get into the swing of things. Obviously there's potential for some aggression and some spawn peaks, but that isn't something that Empire have opted for here. Giving Liquid the respect and really setting up quite critically, I think, for some sort of denial. You can see with all those cabinets open, it's going to be a nightmare to try and get the diffuser down.
It is, and they also have a lot of information. We have the Maestro cameras, we even have a bulletproof from the Jaeger as well. Even the Banshees, to a degree, can be used as information. If you hear that ringing off, you're going to know somebody's inside of the bomb site. So Empire have set up everything honestly pretty perfect. I think in this scenario, Liquid are going to have to use a lot of utility to clear that out. There's the Maestro camera trying to eliminate some of the drones, and Again, that's good information. Empire able to count how many people are inside the cigar shop at one time and then set up appropriately to that. I wonder if we're going to see any rotates from below. C4s, of course, are a big thing that we do see a lot on Kafe. And Palu with the first pick, a great one. And that's the Maestro gone. A big operator to lose at this stage for Empire.
You can't be peeking Palu like that. He will take any opportunity that he is given. A C4 there, going to get shot out by Moringa, as he's still going to be on that south side rappel. Shots now firing into Dan. He's actually going to get downed as he's vaulting over the wall. He's going to be inside a freezer. Sexy Cake maybe with an opportunity to finish him off here, but more concerned at opening up these lines of sight. Still a job to be done here for Liquid. They've managed to find the opening pick and a down onto another player. So they are effectively in a 5 versus 3, but look at where Joystick is right now. He's made his way up those red stairs. He's managed to circumvent any of the air jabs that may have been down there. This could be massive here for Joystick. He's just got to bide his time and play this one exceptionally well. Finds one, goes for the swing, doesn't get the second. PSK shuts him down. There's 7 seconds that remain. There's been a bit of a switch and we've ended up pushing in through freezer. Players are falling on the side of Liquid. The diffuser's on the ground. Empire stand firm.
Empire already getting things off to a great start for them. A 3 versus 5 essentially is what that was. Ollie Joystick, I think, being the main man to get things moving. Liquid, the flank coverage? Where is it? You have to question that. Yes, they bring a Nomad. Okay, Nomad may have got shot. You should still have a drone there. Something at least. Joystick being able to move in, get that first kill. And I think whenever that first kill happens on the flank, there is a bit of panic. Attackers, everyone looks around, everyone's trying to think out what's just happened. You have to give credit, though, to Empire for standing strong, especially Shepard inside of that freezer. It's very, very easy to walk in and just pre-fire that if you're an attacker, and he pre-fired them right back.
I was gobsmacked that Joystick didn't get 2 there. I'll be honest with you. That turn from PSK, it was incredible stuff. It was enough to keep Liquid in it for a time. But Shepard from the freezer, there's nothing you can really do about that. You know, especially when you're only bringing 2 nades, it's going to be really difficult to actually get anyone on through. In fact, they might have been bringing 4 because they did bring the sledge. So, but still, there was no direct pressure in on that area, and Empire did exactly what you need to do on that top floor hold, and that's give yourself something strong to work with, give yourself a nice base and a good foundation, and just don't peek, don't overextend. Rely on one player to go on a little bit of a rotate. 1 kill was all it took.
Cause havoc. For Liquid, like we know, a very structured team, and if you give them the space and the time, some of their takes that they do, I mean, you've watched them at close hands, they will dominate any single team they go up against. And I think for Empire, the real objective for them should be disrupt, disrupt, disrupt.
Empire going to be holding this top floor again now as we move sites, but we don't really move all too much focus.
Pretty much the same setup, isn't it?
Still got to defend this top floor very heavily. This time, no Maestro on the side of Empire. Instead, they're going to bring good old Aruni with the laser gates.
What kind of gates?
The laser gate, the Suri gate. That is going to assist in holding onto that top floor and just eat up a little bit more utility and time from Liquid. So they've got themselves all onto the roof, and they're going to look to try and take in a very similar fashion, getting the hatches open, gathering this information. It's all really about, for Empire, how much time they can waste here on the roam. They've already managed to waste a minute. That's typical for this map. It takes a while to get up to the roof. It takes a long time to get there and get all the hatches open in the grand scheme of things. Palu going to aggress a little bit down these red stairs. He's working off a bit of information as the drone goes on through. In fact, Nesk's got himself already inside of wheel room and train. Almost got a direct line on into sight. Needs to be cautious of the player that's going to be on white stairs.
So Liquid taking in towards train. What this will do for them is give them an opportunity to actually attack on towards Fireplace, which we don't see all too often. This is the second bomb site you would naturally attack. Most of the time we see the plants go down in reading. Very rare that we would have something go on this side of the map. Pros of this is it's very easy to gain map control. Hardly any teams will actually try and defend train. Downside is very, very difficult to actually plant in. A lot of different angles you have to worry about. You can hold long angles from reading into Fireplace, white stairs as well. You can get some filthy angles as somebody crouches in through the Fireplace. So overall, much more of a difficult task than what you would expect. And Liquid are just trying to ignore everything happening above and just directly take onto the bomb site via the mid-floor.
Now there's been a nice hole that's been opened there just on that rotation next to the Fireplace. He's going to be always watching that angle from below. He's going to be laid prone inside of the bakery area. He's actually going to move off for the time being.
Droned?
Maybe just worried that he's getting pressured there. Joystick again looking to threaten here on the flank. He's trying to get past this air jab. He can hear it directly above him, but with the way that the walls are, with the indents, it's going to be quite difficult to try and see it. Manages to eventually eat that Nomad up, but that's going to alert everybody to his presence. PSK are going to look for a swing and see if he can gain some advantage here. There has already been a kill with game, but PSK there, he's not going to miss this second time either. The site control has now been gained. Sexy K is going to look to try and get a plant down. Always is still going to be below, and Empire are going to be scrambling here. They're very split up. Another kill coming in for PSK there. It's shaping up to be a flawless one here for Liquid. Shepard is in the default plant spot, and he's kind of left scratching his head like, we've not seen people planting the other side oh so often, but Liquid are going to do it in the here and now. 2 final kills, almost a flawless. Always managed to find an impactless frag there at the end. Good take from Liquid.
Oh, I think you're right what you said. Not expecting that take. Empire probably not used to a team taking in towards Fireplace. Like I said, it's not the common way to attack that bomb site, but Liquid just setting up in positions and winning their engagements. I mean, there wasn't anything too flashy from Liquid. I think that's just clinical of what we expect from them. Empire, I have to question always on what he was doing below. Okay, sure, you're holding a nice angle, stopping anyone coming through the breach. But if he was droned and he was getting pressured, why is he still below whenever the plant starts to come in? It's a little bit strange to me. I would like to see him get up, cause some issues, pressure gold. Do anything you can, just do not give Liquid the time to set up these takes, because as we see, this is what happens.
PSK on the top floor as well. 2 massive kills there. Managed to take down Joystick.
Got a great one on Joystick.
Joystick got really unfortunate there with, well, he didn't get unfortunate. He got outplayed by the Nomad, by the air jab. The placement on that air jab was perfect. For anyone that's unsure about what Joystick was trying to do there, if you crouch down and you look directly up above the door frame, oftentimes you can actually see a part of the air jab, enough to actually shoot, and then you're going to be able to move on through. One of the reasons why you'll see some players running like a silencer on a pistol or something like that, because they're going to then use that silence pistol to take out the air jab and then be able to continue with the flank. Now, the unfortunate thing for any defender here on this map is if you look at a lot of the surfaces, they are undulating. There's a lot of crevices, there's a lot of gaps, there's a lot of sort of, I don't know what to really describe them as.
The door frame sticks out a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
There's a lot of uneven surfaces that you can really hide these air jabs in quite well. That's exactly what we saw PSK do there. The air jab was in a bit of a nightmare position for Joystick. Although he could hear it, he couldn't do anything about it. And PSK, he didn't really have to take any control upstairs. He just waited, and Empire got a little bit flappy and a little bit impatient.
Empire straight on to the next bomb site, not wanting to hang around inside of Reading again. They will go for a kitchen. This has been a bomb site where, Ollie, just put your mind back to the group stages where they played against Cyclops. They gave me a heart attack with what they were pulling off. They had some mad strategies trying to retake a 5 versus 5 with diffuser being planted. Empire, they make this site very, very difficult for themselves, but they still managed to pull off round wins on it. Echo has been featured very, very heavily on this bomb site for the past couple of months, and it shows just how strong he is, being able to delay that diffuse going down so many times. An Echo drone has single-handedly won rounds, and again, it's very prevalent here at this competition, so you will see some great usage out of Always on that Echo. No IQ on the side of Liquid. They're thinking, okay, sure, they have an Echo. We're not worried about that. We can make do.
Sticking to a fairly standard lineup here, you know, 6K going to flex from the Maverick over onto the Hibana, but both are going to achieve a very similar job in this
Get the hatch open, isn't it?
Get the hatch open, that's going to be the priority. Maybe a line of sight in through the bakery wall if that's something that they're going to want to try and put some pressure on. But initially, it's going to be all about that train room, getting in there with the sledgehammer, opening up those lines of sight, making it awkward for any players on the side of Empire to either rotate back on through prep or just cut them out from the site in its entirety.
Very typical setup from Liquid, taking in towards train. They've opened up all of these different angles, and that has forced Empire outside of kitchen. They now have to stick to the shadows in towards small, which is where Joystick is right now, and he gets eliminated. PSK has Joystick's number on his phone, and he is hitting that call every single time. Oh, always a great shot, but Palu is there to refrag right from behind. Bakery now in control of Empire, also eliminating the Banshee. So perhaps Liquid now rotating around and are going to go for a kitchen plant potentially, Ollie.
Quite possibly. Empire are kind of left wondering where the push is coming from. Here we can see Dan maybe thinking about a bit of a rotate, but instead gets himself back behind the bar. Sexy Kate just going to go out and out for a plant. Scyther is there with some sort of pressure, but it's not going to be enough. Palu there takes him on down. 2 quick kills come in for Liquid. Shepard left with it all to do. post-plant situation. Not a lot of health on the side of PSK or Palu. Still 2 toxic canisters remaining in a post-plant. Not the most ideal situation. Crossfires are being held. Sexy Cake comes in with the final frag. And Team Liquid, they're looking dangerous here on Kafe.
That was great from Liquid. I love the adaptation. They pretty much made Empire believe that Liquid were going to go for the standard freezer hatch take, drop down, just what we've seen pretty much the entire tournament. What did Liquid do in the final minute? Quick rotate. They find that kill on the joystick. They know that was the only person who could stop them from taking Bakery. They land this kill right here from PSK, and what did they do? They are in as quick as they can. Liquid being able to adapt in that circumstance, pulling a blind one, let's be honest, against Empire. Empire, as we've seen, they didn't expect this. That's why the double wall, it still had a rotation inside it. They did not reinforce up that wall. And from there, the kills happen, Diffuser goes down, and it's very difficult. And of course, losing always with the Echo, that was a very important pick for Liquid as well.
Another 2 opening picks there for Liquid. It was massive inside of that round because that then gives them the freedom to make those rotations and say, yeah, we can just push in from somewhere else now. We can put pressure on that kitchen hatch. You know, throwing Moringa down that freezer hatch drop, he's not really designed to get the kill there. He's just gathering a bit of intel, maybe putting a bit of chip damage on. It's just harassing Shepard in that instance. Everyone knows where he is, and with such a great man-count advantage, you can afford to just throw an Ash at the problem and see if it solves it. As it stands, Empire are left wanting. They're going to take us back upstairs. It's the only round that they have seen success in so far. Bar and Cocktail. And it was all down to a flank. Joystick, his singular kill that he's been able to gain in this game, came from that flank, being able to make his way up those red stairs. You need to really consciously watch where these air jabs are being placed now, because I don't think that Liquid are going to get fooled by the same trick twice.
Okay, Empire. Losing those 2 rounds now, and you've gave Liquid that momentum, and well, like something that was highlighted on Liquid yesterday in their matchup was if you give them a momentum, they will steamroll you into a pulp. Now, worry for Empire. They've gave them a couple of rounds already. Liquid have, I think, pretty much got those rounds convincingly as well. They haven't been, you know, close where it's had to ride on like a clutch or anything like that. It has been great rounds from Liquid. If Liquid have another great round and they lead 3-1 up, Empire have to fix something and quick. If Empire win this round, though, I think that'll be a good start for them. They're back in towards the top floor. This is the bomb site that they won the last time. It was down to a great bit of play from Shepard inside of Freezer. One change-up as well from Empire that I like to see is Mirror. Mirror being open in Kafe, we don't see this all too often. Extremely strong. These long angles that you can create just nullifies anyone pushing in towards Piano. Piano is that gem in this attack. That is what the attackers need to gain, is Piano control. And Empire are going to do everything they can to shut them down and not give them that piece of equipment that they need.
It's a similar hold again, really, isn't it, from Empire, where they're just not looking to peek, they're not looking to move. We did see Scyther suffer opening death last time. Down to Palu, who did get a little bit too aggressive. The air jab has been placed here. PSK just going to open up the window. Maybe for Sexy Cake to use Amaru on in.
What's he up to? What's he thinking?
It's always scary. You see the Amaru and you do start to panic. With such a heavy hold of that east side, Sexy Cake has got an opportunity here to Amaru in through one of the windows. And if these players are all in cameras, which, you know, it looks like they might be, it could be quite easy for him to gain a little bit of an advantage and a little bit of an element of surprise.
Oh, he's going
to happen, Demo.
Oh, and the thing is as well, with Liquid, is that Palu is using a concussion to nullify the sound of this going in. So whenever Cypher, who is going to be that Maestro right beside that window, he's not going to be able to hear it happen and hear it go. The concussion goes in, Sexy Cake right for the window. And as you can see, Empire have no idea he's in this position. Dan has found one, so as always, Sexy Cake has to go big with that G8. He has no idea to the Maestro right beside him. He will find that kill as Palu is also squared it up into a 3 versus 3. Information being fed back, and there's the G8 ringing through. Palu goes massive with a triple kill, and it's poor old Joystick on the flank. A double air jab as well. They weren't letting him get the flank off this time. Liquid, the adaptation. What a play from them. Diffuser's going to go down, and Joystick, my boy, you have to go big. You have to find 3 kills and get the Diffuser.
It's going to be too difficult for him to manage their demo. PSK to take him on down. That is some exciting siege to watch right there. The coordination on the side of Liquid, you could see Sexy Cake. He was looking at the monitor left. He was looking at the monitor right from the players either side of him, waiting for that opportune moment. Cypher had no idea what had just happened there on that new balcony window. Sexy Cake straight on in. It wasn't clean, I'll be honest with you. The initial engagement, I think Sexy Cake was thinking, you know, maybe he's going to hear it a little bit. Maybe he's going to have an inkling. And he immediately pre-fires. Now, there was no challenge. And at that point, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to throw the flashes and then we'll go for the challenge. And then, he's actually behind the next cabinet. It wasn't the cleanest of engages, but it all got the job done. Couple that with Palu coming in from the other side, and it was an absolute nightmare. We saw him there make his way through the freezer. Boy, oh boy, what a round for Liquid.
I was worried for Liquid. You know, 50 seconds, no piano control, all of them just stacked up in a bunch toward the cigar shop. And then I see just the corner of my eye, little Maru getting ready. Bang! Everything happens. The concussion manages to land. Cypher has no idea. He's been hit by like a wave. He has no idea where he's at right now. Finds those kills, and then from there, you know, very difficult for Joystick. And again, also, adaptation from Liquid again. A double air jab. Joystick flanked them the last time. Wasn't happening this time.
Well, you can try, can't you? But he's going to get called out twice onto air jabs there. It's one of those situations. You trigger the first one and you think, surely there can't be another. You know, how bad can this situation get? I'm already 1 versus 3 post plant. Surely I don't have to wade through 2 air jabs to be in with a chance at even grabbing a kill.
Scary Liquid. And this is Liquid in their element, where they can make up these strategies on the fly, and they're still working. The coordination is impeccable from Liquid. We cannot fault them these past 3 rounds. Very, very dominant from them. And this is where I worry for Empire. Again, you've gave Liquid these 3 rounds, and they've been very comfortable rounds from Liquid. Empire, what are you going to do? There's a snowball rolling down the hill, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Liquid with the momentum here inside of this fixture so far. Going to be dealing with a different site again. Empire not fancying trying the hand upstairs. They've taken us all the way down. It was a site again that we saw Liquid with some successes on. 2 opening kills was massive for them. They were then able to make a very rapid rotation at around the minute mark. You can see that they're just sort of looking for these kills again. Empire seemingly playing scared here. No roam presence, no real presence on side of that first floor. Liquid with the confidence now to move on down and continually take this map control. Everyone on the side of Empire at the moment is going to be playing on that site, and if you start off on the site, we've seen how Joystick is struggling with these air jabs since round 1.
So Empire going for the kitchen once again, and Liquid playing it pretty much the same way as they did last time they attacked it. Getting in towards that top floor, in towards the mid floor, opening up every single angle that they can. Empire, like you noted too, Ollie, no roam presence there. Mustn't be I think, feeling themselves to really go for a roam game. I mean, especially against Liquid in this form, you would get quite a nasty surprise if you think you can pull off a successful roam game, especially against Liquid and their form that they have. So they're just going to try and play it as safe as they can. But is safe the correct play for them? Should they give Liquid this time, Ollie? Should they give them this confidence to set up?
Liquid have cleared out pretty much all of the map, and they've now got the soft destruction working up above, opening up those angles. We've got Sexy Cake on the upside down repel, a nightmare angle to challenge onto. Oh, is this going to be there along with Joystick? A chance at an engagement here. Joystick's actually going to get chunked down, I suppose. That's probably from Palu. Nope, maybe PSK as he finds the opener inside of this one. Moringa backs it up with another frag onto always the same 2 players on the side of Empire that died the first in the last time of attacking this round are gone here and now again. Dan, he's going to find some sort of a response, taking down Moringa, but the kills continue to come here for Liquid. Another frag going to be traded back and forward. The diffuser now going down. Another 1vx situation for a player on Empire to contend with. This time it's going to be down. Dan, you see him? No, he didn't get there in time. The plant will go down, finds the frag, but it is impactless. He is in a 1 versus 2 effectively because PSK is down, and it looks as though he has some information. We've got both red and yellow pings here that are going to be able to give him a little bit of an idea as to what is happening. But the player down can also call out as well, and I think that's probably what PSK is doing there. There's a red ping information onto Nest, though. Dan's going to find this as a triple kill. He's got 19 seconds, so there is technically enough time here, but he's got to go massive. He still has to find another frag here. He's going to finish off PSK. He's going to try and get himself locked in to this 1v1 with Palu now. The time has, unfortunately for Dan, run a little bit too short. He's going to attempt the defuse, but we all know he hasn't got the time. Palu there, waited outside perfectly. A little bit scrappier, but another round for Liquid.
Still, that initial build-up to Liquid, extremely good from them. Dan just a hairline fraction away from stopping that plant go down. A nice attempt, but just not enough. Liquid running away with the game. Empire really struggling now as well, Ollie. It's not the same Empire that we expect to come into this matchup, the dominant team that, I mean, pretty much ragdoll Team 1 about yesterday. And this is not the same Russian machine that we're used to see dominate.
Certainly not. Empire have they've had a slower than they would like start here on Kafe. It's going to be the final round as before the side switch when we get on into things. Some narrow kills being found there. As Always and Joystick really trying to hold on to that bakery, but they just can't deal with that onslaught that's coming in from them. It's happened 2 times in a row now, Demo.
Yeah, Empire not winning that opening engagement. Joystick has been shut down incredibly well by PSK. I don't know if Silence said, okay, your job, you kill this man and we'll have no issues. And I mean, PSK, he's doing just that. He is eliminating the top dog in the competition. I mean, Joystick, his stats speak for himself just how good he is. And if you can eliminate that one key member from Empire, Empire all of a sudden turn back into the team we've seen in EUL.
Empire, of course, not having the best showing inside of EUL. I believe they were 9th, Demo, inside of the first stage of EUL, so really surprised everyone when they came into Invite and then had such a cracking run through the group stage. It was really all off the back of Joystick as one of the highest rated players in a lot of the important stat lines, mainly kill-death ratio. He was really getting in there and getting the frags, and I mean, since the first round, that was the last time that Joystick was able to gain a kill.
I think he was the only player as well out of everyone who had a positive KPR. KPR, for anyone who doesn't know, is kills per round, and he was getting, I think, 1.01. So he is getting a kill every single round by those statistics, which is insane. It's insane.
Empire needs to try and find something here, as a 5-1 split wouldn't be ideal in the opening map of this best of 3. Palu at the top of these red stairs now. He's already managing to bait out some utility here from Always. This time, Empire are going for a much more frontline approach. Historically, we've seen them sit back on this site and not rest on their laurels, but wait for the push to come on through. This time they're hassling. They're not giving that control away so easily, Demo.
Oh, Liquid actually get jumped out on. Always has managed to tank the air jab and get the kill mid-air. Eventually will get refrag, but Dan as well with a kill onto his own Empire. Waking up a little bit, Ollie. Going for jump outs against a Nomad and pulling off those shots. Credit where it's due. Always makes a massive kill.
Yeah, I think he's just been able to get fortunate there with the Nomad placement and maybe been able to get the kill just before it's set off, and then as the kills come through, he's gone flying, but he did get taken out as a trade, and that is your smoke. Now, I imagine the reason that he made that call was because he'd used a couple of his Toxic Babe canisters already. We'd already seen him expend a few. So maybe to go out and get a kill over onto the player on Repel is going to be worth in that instance. It does give Empire an all-important man advantage here, which is something that we've not really seen them been able to play with all too much. Sexy Cake there, just trying to put some shots in to the player inside of Freezer. But as time is running short, something needs to happen here. There needs to be a little bit more focus, a little bit more pressure applied from Liquid.
Liquid gonna try and force their way in through Piano, but the utility from the Maestro cameras will feed that information right back to Empire. The nade will connect, and that will eliminate said information, but still Liquid up against it. They do not have the man advantage. They've lost PSK as well, so that's your joystick exterminator off the board. And well, for Empire, now they can start to fall back into the deeper areas off the bomb site. They're stacking up extremely well. Shepard using the Maverick calls. Joystick gets eliminated. Nest, though, gets refragged by Dan, and now Palu, the top player for Liquid in this game, has to push in deep to the bomb site, but it's not going to be enough. 3 players to find, too much to do. And Shepard eliminates him. Empire, a little bit of aggression, throws off the Liquid attack.
It goes a long way. They didn't give up Piano so freely. They were willing to challenge on those jump outs and just try their hand, see if they could make anything happen. And be honest, that's the position that Empire really found themselves in. They had to come out with a bit of a hero play there to be able to come away with a round. They secure a 2-4 split. It's not ideal, but it's better than 5-1.
It is better than 5-1. 4-2 better than 5-1? Yes, of course it is. Unless you're Liquid. And then you would have wanted the 5-1. But it is what it is. Empire, just a little bit different, change up their playstyle. I think Liquid maybe got too comfortable with how they were playing Siege, and Empire make a bit of noise, and this happens. So, 4-2 in the splits. I mean, so it's Kafe at the end of the day. We're used to seeing kind of rough game where it goes back and forth, and I think one thing that me and you have definitely agreed on is first half is one thing, second half is another.
Yeah, we've had some rough games, really, haven't we? They've really sort of ebbed and
just G2. That's all I'm thinking in my back head. Just the second half for G2 never goes well for some reason.
Let's see what Empire have got here on the attack. That win is going to do something for their momentum. It's going to be a bit of a feel-good after what was quite a poor couple of rounds in a row. But they've been able to get the upper hand there. And they got it early. It was an important opening kill. And that was something that we've seen Liquid do very well off the back of. It isn't something that we've seen Empire be able to get all too many times because of how good the pushes have been from Liquid. They've been very coordinated, a lot of refrag potential. I don't think that Palu has missed the opportunity for a trade so far. That's something that's maybe worth highlighting. All the kills that Liquid are able to gain here, if there is an opportunity for a trade, it is being found. That's something that Empire need to try and take into their gameplay, because so far they've been just getting picked off.
That is great from Empire. Being able to use Zero and his cameras, firing an angle onto the window on White Corridor, and then you can see an angle onto the ADS placements that are typically stacked up inside of Pixel. That's great from Empire. Not going to be using all of them, I suppose, still trying to save some of them for flanks with no Nomad on the side of Empire. Liquid Empire kind of filling that hole with your Zero, so I mean, you still want to try and keep that as much as you can and stop Liquid, who we know they're not afraid to have those rotates and have that bit of aggression and trying to stop that push come in. But for the meantime, Empire, they've lost the first kill, and Joystick again, 1-7, Ollie. Terminator, is he fully charged?
The Cyborg maybe running out of batteries here, as he is struggling inside of this match. It isn't the performance that you really want to be seeing out of your Ash Jaeger main. You know, we can talk about how it's important to have contributions elsewhere, but you really need to be getting the kills if you're going to be playing on that entry role. There's a bit of an engagement going down at the bottom of Garage as well. Another kill being found onto Shepard. Sexkate going to be holding this pretty horrible angle with the shotgun at close range. The laser gate will be burned. Sexkate tempted for a swing here. He doesn't have his nitro cell anymore, but he has got the shotgun. Going to be laid down there prone. The stuns on both sides. Isn't going to be able to win out the engagement. Dan, the heads-up play, managing to take that as a headshot immediately. It's not going to level it out, but it does something for Empire.
Always taking the first approach, swinging in, but actually comes back out. Cypher trying his best on that window on Mini. See if he can get himself in and try to assist his team. Now let's get rid of the mute jammers though. That allows Empire to open up that breach into Piano, but with 40 seconds to go, they need to move quick. They do not have the Piano control. Now they're going to be forced to just try and brute force their way in through the site. Is that going to work for them? There is a lot of information still on the side of Empire. Still denial also. You have the smokes on board with Moringa. He will use his first one. Cypher's actually rotated and going below, looking for a pick perhaps. Gonna impact below the Maestro, and that's an easy kill. PSK, was he aware he was impacted from below? But in the end, it doesn't matter. Everyone else from Liquid is able to hold their ground. And there goes the first defense. 3 players ready for that kill, Ollie.
That's one way to thirst after the final kill, isn't it? Not a lot of time left, but Liquid still want to finish that out with another kill on their stats. With the shotgun flying over the top rail there to finish things off. Empire still struggling here inside of this game. Opening kill is a big problem for them at the moment. I don't feel like we've seen them at full strength in enough of these rounds, Demo. The scoreline is going to dictate that as well. They've just been struggling to get involved. What is it that Joystick is doing wrong here? Because is he getting specifically targeted? Because we saw a lot of air jab placement, but how are they managing still to target him on the attack?
It could be because he got off to a bit of a bad start, and I don't know, mental game perhaps from Joystick. He had a bad round, and it kind of just led to more and more and more. And maybe he's at this stage where he's kind of lost himself and he doesn't know what he can do. Then the nerves start to kick in and he starts panicking, and he'll be thinking 100 different things right now about this game. Joystick just needs to just calm himself. We know how good he is at playing this game. Show us.
A lot of the wins that Empire have gotten up until this point can be attested to Joystick's gun. He's come away with, I think he came up with plus 57 kills up until this point in the tournament, the highest of anyone. Only starting to really be challenged by the likes of Palu and Nesk, who sit just below him. This could be the game that dictates, who comes away with the most kills. I think the more important thing is who comes away with the win, because the loser goes home. But it is that time to stand up and be counted.
Yeah, and of course, I'm sure people will probably thinking, this is just the one-man army. If Joystick isn't here, they don't show up. I mean, other players from Empire have also had great moments. It takes everyone to build a team. But in a way, Ollie, you still have to put it down to just how good Joystick is. Yeah, if one guy turns up and has the game of his life, well, I think Joystick has had the tournament of his life so far. That is definitely something you have to take into account, and you have to give full credit. Without that main man, Empire are naturally going to be a weakened side. It's like comparison to any sport. If you lose your best player at the time, it's going to definitely affect the team, 100%.
Imagine if you lose Neymar.
You didn't know who he was.
I don't think Joystick knows where he is. He's just been taken out there by a C4 out on the rappel. Tried to shoot it out, but couldn't quite get there in time. Palu going to dish some damage onto Always as well. Liquid more than happy to challenge these players on the rappel. They're not going for runouts, they're just going for cheeky little angles. C4's being thrown and laid down at the bottom of windows. Always is going to find a frag onto Sexy Cake, taking down the Ella there. It smacks of an aggressive lineup here from Liquid, doesn't it? Think about that to go through. You've got the Ella, you've got the Malusi Banshees, you've got loads of C4s available. Real tough stuff for Empire to be dealing with.
It is. Empire stalling out. They've only now just started to open up some of the walls and trying to move in towards Piano. But that isn't, the bomb site, Ollie. It's still going to be a reading room defense, but naturally most teams will still take in towards that top floor. Dan has been stunned. I don't know if that was from Cypher, maybe missing his concussion, or it was from an Elamine they're still lurking about. Nesk, quick peek, eliminates Cypher, and he's going to try and battle back and have some more kills. Decides to fall back. It's not worth it as the utility gets tossed in. And Empire, again, losing another engagement, and Liquid in the driver's seat.
Always has found himself down as Nesk picks up a triple kill on the round. He will find himself out of action, though, to Shepherd, as Dan looks to regress on through and push into Cocktail. I'm not sure he's aware of the player behind the cabinet, and he's going to have no idea. Shots are missed, but it will not matter. PSK recovers and finds the frag in the end. Shepherd left in the 1 versus 3 now. He has intel. He's going to know roughly where PSK is, and that's demonstrated there with him taking him on out. It's going to be a quad kill here for Shepherd if he's able to pick up these final couple of kills. Default camera is still up. That's going to give a little bit of the game away. And with Moringa and Palu playing pretty much opposite one another, it's going to be very difficult for Shepherd to pull this off. Palu makes a rotation at an ideal time, finds the final kill. Liquid ascend here to a map point.
Map point already for Liquid. Empire, what's going on? What is going on with Empire? Liquid, this is way too easy for my liking. I don't know if we're being pranked, Ollie. and then we'll see the second map just be carnage. But right now, Empire are not showing us the same team that dominated the group stage. Is it a case of Empire not showing up? Is it a case of Liquid getting better? What do you think? I'm more on the Empire not showing up side, to be honest.
I mean, it's the case that Palu's 12-2 demo. That's a little bit of a problem right there. Just a smidge.
Empire getting empired.
Team Liquid look terrifying here. They're going to try and take this map in the here and now. I am almost certain of it. They're going to be defending downstairs inside of kitchen. Empire really yet to show us any sort of bite.
And I mean, you look at some of the kills as well of Empire. 3 players and 7 kills. Within those rounds, how many of those kills were actually impactful? Very little. I would say Liquid, even if it gets down to like a 1v2, whatever it is, Liquid still look very dominant. That build-up play that Liquid had in their attacks were extremely strong. On their defense, they've won 2 in a row now, and that means that they have to go for the third pick bomb site, which is going to be their kitchen in this circumstance. Empire, operator selection, a couple of changes. We're seeing a lot of information from them. We're seeing the Jackal. We're now seeing also the Lion. So I think for Empire, they've highlighted that their information game, and especially dealing with roamers, you look what Nest did last round, that has been an issue for them.
And you can see that they're trying to double down on that now. They've got the Lion, they've also brought the Jackal joystick. Obviously not feeling the Asher isn't going well for him. Going to try and slip back into more of a supportive role and just try and get a number as to where Palu is going to be playing, because he's been the one that Empire have been unable to shut down. He's only died twice so far inside of 8 rounds. So it's going to be a top priority really from Empire to try and deal with him, but therein lies the problem, really. You know, you deal specifically with Palu, and look at the game that we've seen out of PSK. Look at the game that we've seen out of, you know, Nesk. It's not just a one-trick pony.
Joystick being able to use that information and will win that engagement. We're seeing the idea of Empire initiating the information, using the Lion scans, and it will gift them a kill, which is definitely needed for Empire. Their opening kill game has not been strong. Palu, a great position. There he is again, Ollie. The man for Liquid. Stepping up big time, and Empire have lost Cypher. Sophia gone, information as well you can gain from those stuns. Of course, the impacts to deal with any bit of utility. We've got a shield on the side of Moringa as well. Empire in a good position, but it could have been better if they did not lose Cypher.
Absolutely. PSK, they're going to be able to find a frag over onto Dan as he gets taken down there inside of Train. That's going to be the hard destruction gone as well. This just gets more difficult by the second here for Empire. Joystick, he has information available to him. There's going to be a yellow ping that is rocking on out. A track and an EE1D. That's a direct location onto PSK, and a gunfight will ensue. Joystick will win that one out. Now able to work off a little bit more information and show us what he really can do.
Joystick has another yellow ping. The information has been strong from Empire, and that's enough to scare Palu back down to the bottom floor. Liquid still in a great position, Ollie. I mean, the utility hasn't been tested by them, and Empire losing that hard breacher specifically has really limited them in terms of what they can do. They cannot open in towards the freezer wall. They're going to have to try and challenge in towards that shield. A bakery rotate isn't going to be on as well. Right now, Empire, they have to try and play for the kills.
It's going to be very difficult here. Sexy Cake is likely not to get challenged either. He's playing inside a bakery and he has a little bit of cover supporting him. It's almost a retake strategy coming out here from Liquid as Palu, we can see primed and ready with a C4. He's going to toss it on through. It's just a little bit premature there, as he could have done to hold on to it for a little bit longer. Toxic Babe canisters are going to do something, but not enough to stop Shepard from trying to get it down. Always, he's going to find a frag over onto Moringa. Where is the Yokai drone? Well, it's gone and dusted now, because Always has managed to take out Sexy Cake, who is playing on the Echo. Palu now in a 1 versus 3 clutch. We've already seen him clutch 1 today, but this one doesn't seem to be going in his favor whatsoever. Massive round from Always. Empire stay in this one.
Still alive, Empire. A round that they've definitely stolen away from Liquid. Couple of issues there for me for Liquid in terms of how they set up that final 30 seconds. I think the premature C4 was a big one. I think that bit of miscommunication affected them, losing the Echo. Moringa, I think maybe a little bit too late on the smokes as well. So there were a few issues that I think kind of cost them in that late stage. And if you misplace your utility, a team like Empire, they will capitalize on that. And as we've seen, they did so.
I mean, that's the first time we've seen Liquid put under pressure here in this game. We haven't seen Empire with that upper hand inside of many of these rounds. The big difference for me, E1D scans from Lion and the Inox from Jackal. Both of those things were enough for Joystick to be able to grab himself 2 kills. There was much more coordination on the side of Empire. It's almost like they've had a tactical timeout without actually taking their tactical timeout, because they've flipped a switch. All of a sudden, Joystick's now playing the Jackal. The information game is there, and things are coming a little bit easier to them.
Still sticking with that idea as well. Look at their lineup. Lion again, Jackal again. No Sophia, which they are missing out on. Cypher is also going to be bringing the Ashe. So for Empire, still not out of the woods yet. Plenty more trees to go. See if Liquid can try and close it out. They have this buffer. 3 rounds Empire need. So it's still definitely Liquid's game to lose, but can Empire pull off a comeback?
It might just be a case of Empire taking a while to warm into this one. We could quite easily see an OT come out here, but Scyther opens things up with a nice kill over onto Nesk. Please tell me he didn't go for the window. Oh, he went for the white window. I don't think we've seen that spawn peak successful in any of the games that we've casted so far, Demo.
It's tricky. Spawn peaks at the moment, it depends where you actually punch like a hole out, because like glass is a bit of an issue, so I don't really... No, okay, right, so he punched out, he didn't break the glass. I think that's just great situational awareness from
It's
Cypher.
worth a pre-fire.
It is.
It's worth a pre-fire in every round that you spawn in.
So well done to Empire for having that opening pick. I mean, again, Liquid, they have that buffer, though. It's nothing that they have to worry about yet. But who knows? We could be coming back and say, this was it. This was the moment when they knew they lost the game.
I mean, when the machine gets going, it's very difficult often to stop it, Demo. So if Empire do get a little bit of momentum here inside of this one, it could be quite difficult for Liquid mentally to regain that composure always. He's going to find a frag over onto Sexy Cake. Some aggression there from Palu. Manages to dodge the nade. It did actually sail on past him. He's going to find 1 frag back in return, but you can see already how light it feels that Liquid are on this side. They haven't got the ideal presence here. They're not going to have as many eyes as they maybe wish they would have to be able to watch the angles that are going to be pushed.
So Liquid, down a man. Empire looking good. Sure, they've lost always, but he still got his trade in the end. He still was able to make a contribution to the round. How are they going to cope with this cigar shop? Actually, quite easily, PSK has just gave them that position, not wanting to risk that onslaught of Russian that just comes in. You can't stop at the Russian army whenever it gets going, Ollie. We know how difficult it can be to stop that, so I think maybe PSK the correct decision, falling back with Empire, having this confidence. Do not give them anything, because they will take everything that you give them. So 100% from Liquid, the correct call to kind of fall back. And now we'll see how they cope. As Empire have that cigar shop, they have the piano wall open, they still have a shield to get through though. Let's see how they deal with that one.
Palu going to be playing on that pixel spot. We can see the silhouettes of all the Empire players that are pushing on through. Time is going to run them a little bit short here, but they do have a man count advantage to try and use in that regard. Palu's still not looking to try and get too aggressive. Conscious he's got to play his life. Does still have a C4. Going to go for a C4 toss on through, but it isn't going to be successful. It lands just short. It's caught on the door frame. It's a bit unfortunate, really, for him there. PSK finds a big kill over onto Shepard. However, C4 or not, Joystick was down, but is now being revived and is actually up. Scyther picks up a massive couple of kills. PSK with a swing finds an impactless kill. Scyther with a quad. It's going to be enough to keep Empire in it for yet another round. I am sensing a bit of a comeback here.
Oh, Ollie, never say never. It could happen. Empire 2 rounds away, and they could be on the verge of greatness inside of Kafe. That gap has been shortened ever so slightly. And now Empire, they have the momentum. Both teams that we kind of pitched as teams who can just roll over anyone if they get the time to do so. Liquid, yesterday, rolling over Parabellum. Empire, yesterday, rolling over Team 1. Now we're seeing both sides rolling over each other. Liquid, in the beginning, had everything going for them. Now Empire, they're battling back.
No surprise now to see a tactical timeout called by the side of Liquid. Silent's going to be given an opportunity to talk with the team now and just figure out what it is that has been going wrong. They've been threatening this map point for a while now. They managed to lose a couple of rounds in a row as Empire have made a little bit of a resurgence and they've found some momentum. No sort of exuberant displays of emotion as of yet, really, Demo. It seems like they're very cool and calm. They've recognized they've lost a couple of important rounds there, and this could have been said and done a lot easier.
What team are you comparing emotions to whenever you look at Liquid? Perhaps NIP or FaZe, which nobody's matching that emotion.
Nesk gets close sometimes.
He does. I mean, Psycho yesterday for me was the guy I wanted to see. His emotions were phenomenal. Whenever he was watching one of those big moments happen in the later stages, boy, it's always a good watch. And of course, NIP not playing today. They get the day off alongside MIBR as they have that big matchup to see who goes into the grand final with a map advantage tomorrow. But who will join them in the grand final? Could it be an MIBR NIP grand final, or could it be somebody from the lower bracket?
It seems wild to think this is a lower bracket round 3 game, really, Demo. A game of this magnitude coming, it feels kind of early inside of these playoffs.
How about BDS TSM as well? I think that's just how stacked the competition has been.
Really is. The lower bracket has got some very juicy games inside of it. The winner of this game, of course, going on to play FaZe later on this afternoon. So not an easy day, really, for whoever gets themselves on through here. Certainly not an easy day for TSM either, as they advance through their game and will be playing against Oxygen after we see all the maps available here. Well, potentially all the maps available here, depending on how this one goes.
Yep.
But we're still yet to find a winner here on Kafe. Now, Empire, they've managed to pick up 2 rounds in a row. They have come back. They had a shoddy defensive phase, and now it is being mirrored by a lackluster defensive phase here from Liquid. They've been struggling with that opening pick ever since Joystick has started to bring the Lion. Now, the big difference here, Demo, Joystick on the Jackal, we don't have the Lion.
Exactly.
I'm getting my words muddled, but that is the right way around. Shepard instead is going to be playing on the Nomad.
Yeah, Nomad being brought in, perhaps fearing flanks from Liquid. Not even flanks, but perhaps potential rotations. I look towards Piano for being one. If you can fire a Nomad on the Piano doorway, it can stop anyone in the kind of late stager flanking round in towards Piano, killing your people as you stack up in towards Cigar Shop. So overall, not a bad pick. As we know, this is one of Nomad's best map, if not the best. It's definitely in there alongside Consulate as well. Both of those maps extremely good for Nomad. Empire have the Cigar Shop control. Liquid giving that up very early, which is a bit of a surprise as they were very keen on holding it previously. So perhaps giving a little bit of respect to Empire, not wanting to give Empire that potential off an early kill. And I think for Empire, whenever they've had that early kill, Ollie, they've looked much better in this matchup.
Joystick going to be holding the flank downstairs. Worried that somebody from the side of Liquid is going to be going for said flank. We've got Shepard looking to try and burn out on Pixel, but Sexy Kate's going to find the kill over onto Joystick. Someone went for the flank, and they gained the frag. Nesk picks up a kill there onto Scyther. He was actually on the outside rappel. It's a hell of an angle to find. A C4 going to fly on up. It came so close, but it landed so far. It isn't going to do any damage. Still a considerable advantage here for Empire. Joystick will be taken down there by Always, who's been the star player really on the side of Empire inside of this game. It's going to be looking to try and peek onto the player that's inside of Cocktail, as we can hear the X-Kairos pellets being deployed.
Always a lot of angles he has to watch out for, and Nest, that's an easy lineup. Dan has no idea what he's looking for, but Nesk will find a kill. Will almost put it in favor of Liquid at this stage. There goes the Toxic Babes as well, and Always has been spotted at that quick jiggle peek from Paulu, being able to feed the information back over to the rest of Liquid. And Empire have hit a roadblock. It says no entry, and Liquid are taking everything from Empire. One player stands tall for Shepard, but he also gets dropped. Liquid, it was close, it was looking uneasy at times, but they still secure Kafe. That's one map, and Liquid, they know they needed that one.
A timeout there was all it took for Liquid to convert 6 into 7. Empire with an admirable comeback at parts during the middle part of that game, but ultimately it was not enough to keep Liquid from converting that one. Massive game for Palu, 15-4 he ended. PSK 12-7. Some big standouts there on the side of Liquid. We're going to throw it to the experts and they are going to break that game down for you.
Thanks so much, gentlemen. Yes, we are back, and Europe on the back foot again. Team Empire, the last hope of the EU, remaining here at Invitational, and they are a map down. Tried to fight back into Kafe Dostoyevsky, but Liquid looked so beautiful in this game. The coordination was at another level.
It was, yes, it was. And they started off strong. I believe they got 4 consecutive rounds at that first half on some point. That is on the attack. And then you're like already, okay, you know, we mentioned it before. It is just a little bit favored towards the defense by 5 to 7%. And well, Liquid starts that off then with a strong 4-round consecutive streak. Now, the half ends 4-2, but at that point, Liquid already is the ones that are leading. They are already the ones that are in charge of that matchup, and you could almost say already it's theirs to lose at that point.
It was a bit of a frustratingly slow start for Empire. They were trying to find their way into a map, but you know, when it was hidden so long and so well by Liquid, it's hard to expect what's going to happen. I know that there's something that you're looking into, and I don't want to spoil the surprise, but
I'm not saying anything.
I have a feeling that chat knows exactly around that you're going to want to break down on the telestrator in a second. But it was just really, really solidly played from Liquid, and it didn't give Empire a chance to build any momentum. They couldn't find any confidence. They started to pull some stuff back. It's always worth considering this was Liquid's map, and it was an entirely unknown, and Empire is... You know, it's a fantastic team, obviously, but they're a being of practice, and they're a being of knowledge of the kind of setups and the plays that they can put against it. It's the process that they love, and here was an unknown process, and because of that, Liquid were able to just keep the momentum on their heart.
Let's bring up the map summary here to show everybody what went down on the scoreboard. It looked like Empire were too rigid in this game. Liquid on the attack. Look how many plants we've had. 4 in a row. Liquid, a lot people will argue, the most structured team in all of Brazil.
That's it. You don't know what you're reading against. You don't know how to hold against this attack because it was hidden for such a long period of time. And it's a team that has already proven that they're a great structured team. And what I said before we came into this is it's tough to gauge how this is going to go because what we've seen from Latin America on this map has sometimes been a little bit repetitive and a little bit predictable from within a team site in terms of, and if Empire clock onto that, they'll be able to lock it off. But the diversity of the takes, the differences coming out from Liquid, it was so beautiful.
It was definitely, and it's not just the 4 plants they managed to get. 7 entry kills compared to the 4 that Empire was able to set up as well. Really helps you out here. And then of course having 2 players, Palu and PSK, both on a 100% cost.
I mean, yeah, you can't really ask for more there.
No, you cannot ask more from that. It's
plus 11 for Palu.
Palu just doing Palu things. This is the usual story for Liquid. If you're watching online or here in the group stage of playoffs, this is pretty much what always happens. But Mr. Happers, please, would you like to take us to the telestration station and break down something that only needs Richard Hammond to narrate?
No. I'm a big fan of Amaru, right? And when I saw it come in, I was like, you know, if this is going to be working out, surely we are going to be discussing this. So we're starting off at the start. This is where we are at this very moment. We have Sexy Cake that is about to push in. We can see right here. And beside that, we also have the push already coming down on the circle as we speak. So as we let it play out for just a couple of seconds, we see the entry right here as they start pushing through. Now, the kill comes through from Freezer at that point. So we got this kill coming in. Right there is an arrow. Sorry.
I like how you drew an arrow when the line ends in an arrow.
I know. I know it ends in an arrow right there. Either way.
So easy.
at that point, you're like, all right, so the push might be getting shut down right there. So they need to hurry up. But what we have is we have Sexy Cake at that point just rushing in from the top right here, as we see, on the Amaru. Now, Tim said it quite well. It is a bit of an obstacle course that he had to go through, but it went quite beautifully because we also have the kill in the meantime coming down into the freezer, which opens up opportunities for the Amaru to really take control now. And as you see, as the kill goes down, right here, we have the opening on the side and on Cocktail, and all that's left is these two players right here next to Plank. So as they continue, we see that these kills do slowly start to come in. The plant can go down quite slowly, but isn't even necessary in the end, as we now witness Sexy Cake's perspective right here. Getting these kills, just jumping over, clearing every piece of utility you can find.
You know what's so incredible? There's always a Maestro in that position.
Yeah,
goes
always.
Up, knows what's up, jumps over it, makes sure that there's nobody by the bar, gets the kill on the Maestro when vaulting up, then goes to knife the bulletproof cam because he knows it's exactly there, misses the first time, gets it the second, checks just in case there's somebody around the corner,
That's
gets
the
shot,
obstacle course.
drops down on the floor, goes up, pulls up the G8, fires at the guy, then pulls back again. It's incredible. I'm out of breath just talking about it.
It's so easy when you put it like that.
It is so easy when you
It's
put it
so
up like
simple
that.
when you say it like that, Milos. I loved it. I mean, and that was it. That was the crux of the takes, is they were very fun, they were creative, they were diverse every single time we saw a different one. They're in the
Not
situation.
afraid to take risk.
And it was so well coordinated, because the tee-off on that take was the stun round to the back of that Maestro, so they couldn't hear the zip of Amaru. There was the cover and constant noise. Everything was thought of. There was the body on the white corridor window as well. It was big.
And the reason you bring the Amaru is that if a player is repelled up on that window, you know it because there is that noise. And as Em said, you get these stuns in, you Amaru in, they don't know, and you can start pushing. And even if you lose 2 people on the initial push, you can still make it happen.
I remember the first day Amaru was added to the operator pool in competitive play. FaZe Clan were the first of the old FaZe Clan, were the first team to ever try it in that exact same location. It did not go well. But this, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you execute. Maybe you can get to that level with your friends when playing. I would love to see the fails until we get one successful try with the squad tonight. Though that is Kafe Dostoyevsky. Oregon is map 2, and again, one more map separating Liquid from greatness to move on and play an even bigger game against FaZe Clan, or Empire can potentially take it to map 3 on Coastline. Oregon, what is there for Empire to do? Because Liquid, you ask anybody in the room right now, you go around, they're going to tell you, yeah, Liquid will probably win this.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Oh?
I think, because obviously it's one of the few times that we're seeing maps go the way that they were decided, and I think Empire put up a very good fight for what built towards the end. If Liquid hadn't have had the big run early that they did, it might have been a little bit closer. It might have been a different story. I still think it was Liquid's to take at the grand scheme of things, because Empire weren't there in the first 6, 7 rounds. But then they started to be there for a little bit. You could hear the energy. You could feel the machine start whirring. Now they're going over to Oregon, a map that they know about Liquid on as well. They have some culpability and some strength here. And as we hear that...
the Russian beer! I love it.
It's it. Russia's about to kick into gear. I think Oregon is going to be something where they'll be able to bring a very big fight.
It is a map that Liquid like. Let's put it up like that. They have played it quite a bit, and they have played it a couple of times during SI as well. It was a 7-1 loss against BDS, and also a 3-7 victory against G2. So mixed results that Liquid showed here.
What is there that Liquid has to watch out the most?
It's so excited.
So good, Diane. I love it. It is so good. It's infectious, I may even say. That was Team Liquid. What do they have to fear the most against Team Empire in this game in Oregon?
I think if Empire start to get going, it's a very dangerous machine. Like as soon as it gets in motion, that is when it becomes hard to stop. You saw it with that with the comeback potential that was on. As soon as they get going, they continue going, and it's hard to get something in between it to stop it. So they gotta start it off with a good initiative, right? Get those first 2 rounds, 3 rounds, maybe even, and just take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team, Liquid, or they're a team Empire that when we built into this, we talked about their qualities in terms of covering everything. They have the ability to put bodies down. They have the ability to put the diffuser down. They're not scared of that play. It's just finding themselves and the confidence to do it. They've had a moment, they've had a team talk, and they've just had a map taken from them. I think it's time we start to see them research.
Team Liquid are on the defense to start this map, so Empire will be starting off on the attack to hopefully play their best on there. Their only hope now is to survive through on map 2 Oregon and take us to 3 Coastline. Hap M, thanks so much for breaking things down here between our 2 maps. It is time for us to toss it again to our casters. We're going to go to Oregon, and it's Demo and XR Troika for EU, their last hope of Team Empire. And on the other side, Team Liquid, they want to push it further than they ever have been. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the caster desk. Thank you so much for breaking that game down for us. We are going to be here with map number 2 now. It is going to be Oregon between these 2 teams. Oregon, looking at this as a map, I'm still not sure. We saw a dominant Team Liquid there. There was a bit of a resurgence from Empire over on Kafe. Ultimately, I think they went down a little bit too bad in the start of that game. It was a bit too much of a deficit for them to climb back from. Had they had another couple of rounds buffer, we could have seen it going a little bit further. As we now think about Oregon, I can think back and remember some times when we've seen Liquid play on Oregon more recently. It's been a bit hit or miss.
Oregon, I think, always has been hit or miss just as a map as a whole. Some teams win it, some teams lose it. Nobody really ever has like a clean record. Oregon's, I don't think, ever a map that you can say favors a team because it is a very easy map to play. There isn't too much difficulty in terms of understanding some of the plays. Everything is pretty straightforward. I think a lot of it comes down to gun skill. A lot of it comes down to who's turning up on that day. And if we're making that comparison, Ollie, Liquid should win that.
Absolutely. I mean, even as we saw earlier, Demo, it doesn't matter if there's a spot on the map that's named after you. Even that isn't enough for you to be able to pick up the win often here on Oregon. So we will have to see how this one shapes up. Tight social vote there. No one really swinging too heavily one way or another. 52 to 48. It's as good as 50-50.
That's just every G2 fan, every Makers fan, every BDS fan have now just jumped in.
Against the might of Team Liquid fans.
Yep. Right, so Oregon, for me, Ollie, bit of a dogfight of a map. Always going to be close. Always reckless in terms of how the rounds get played out. You never really know who's going to step up to the plate. Oh, look at that. Wow. Bang. Right off the rip. Jackal ban for Liquid. We've seen that be highlighted quite a bit by Joystick. That was the operator he transitioned on to, which gifted him some kills. And it was a bit of an annoyance for a team like Team Liquid who want to try and play in these sneaky positions and try and keep that roam game alive. That's a good ban.
Hit him where it hurts. Empire only started to gain rounds on the attack when they started to bring when Joystick started to bring the Jackal. In conjunction with Lion, even sometimes in conjunction with Nomad, was enough. Fairly standard bans coming out for the rest of it. So Thatcher, Wamai, and Cade is going to be removed. And a Jackal ban, that sort of harks me back to some late night ranked Demo.
Jackal ban. To be fair, Jackal ban, back whenever Jackal was extremely strong, before his C7E got a little bit nerfed. Like, that gun used to be the strongest in the game that we've ever seen. It, you know, he used to walk around just two-shot people in the chest very easily. And even before the changes to how his scanner worked, where it was just immediate pings. There was no distance, no color coding with their footprints. It was instant. So Jackal has went through a lot of changes since he was very big inside of the meta. He is an operator that gets played every now and again, but it's not to the same degree that you would expect other operators who get chosen over him. I think Liquid just respecting the fact that Empire were in a bit of a situation where things weren't working for them and they needed to pull out rat strategies, perhaps? Would that be a term to use? Because, I mean, whenever Empire are up against it, they will do everything they can. They don't care what strategy they go for.
I mean, nobody remembers how pretty it looks, Demo. People just remember the score, and that's something that, you know, people do often forget when
that's the phase play style.
But it is, you know, it doesn't matter how you get there. It matters what the end result is, and if that is, you know, using some of these things that can be seen as, you know, a little bit maybe less honourable. You know, I think about lying down as a smoke with a shotgun at a 90-degree angle. It's not pretty, is it? But it's going to get the job done.
I mean, I thrive for those kind of plays because I am also one of them.
I mean, that's you've got to do what you've got to do, and in this map and in this round, Liquid and Empire are going to do what they need, what needs must to try and get the job done. I like the addition of the Legion. We've seen Nesk. He's 6-picked onto that Legion from the mirror. That could be something that they're looking to try and just deal with this roam game with a little bit. You know, it's sometimes something that we see when a shield is being regularly played. You're going to bring a Legion, try and deny those plants. They can be placed in a myriad of locations. You can try and use it as an early warning system, or you can place them in the site and try and, you know, deny any sort of plants that are going to go down in the dying few seconds.
We were seeing a stage, a 4-man roam game from Liquid, 4 players towards the mid floor trying to support one another. That has slowly been dropped off now as Empire started opening up some entrances into the building, and it has chased some of them away. Empire were thinking about perhaps a west side take, but then seeing the extension that Empire had to go through, which would have been the kitchen hold from Liquid, they thought, you know what, let's just fall back. Let's not try and move that. Instead, a blue take will be where they go, and it's been a quick rush, and they've lost their 90 power. Liquid down a hefty man now. And they're going to have to try and stabilize and stop the bleeding for as long as they can. But everyone from Empire piling in. Cypher's still on the ground, bleeding out as he goes. Down and low HP also has to be careful. Potential smoke could finish him off. Moringa gets down and killed by always a nade. That's been dropped because he's got the kill. Oh my word! Oh no! Empire have had a nightmare. What a kill from PSK, and he's netted 2 nades from the Martyrdom. Oh my word, you will never see anything like that again.
Unfortunate stuff there for Empire. They attempted a rush off the back of sledging open the barricade, and for a time they were stable. They were managing to hold their ground, but it just wasn't going in their favor. Sexy Cakes played a blinder there, managing to stay alive, getting himself back into the site, able to throw out his Toxic Babe canisters and just harass and continue to be alive. He's got the diffuser down, and I think he probably knows it at this point. All it's going to take is a quick wiggle around that wall to get that information, know that that's where the kit is, and then he's going to be able to keep a tight hold of it. Shepard going to throw out his last nade there. It gets caught up in an ADS. Nobody playing inside of the spot anyway. There's 30 seconds left for Shepard to try and make something happen here, but Liquid aren't giving him anything. He's going to try and wiggle his way around, pre-firing as he goes, but no one really on the side of Liquid in any significant danger here. 15 seconds, that's 5 seconds per kill. This is when the swings may start to come. Shepard finds one, but not a second. Too good with the refrag, too good with the trade. PSK there grabs that final kill. Liquid can breathe a sigh of relief, having been helped out quite significantly inside of that round.
That's a stinker. That is just... no words can describe it. Never seen a double nade kill. Sure, we see the odd nade happens and it hits a teammate and they go down. Sure, yes, we've seen that before. But the fact that we have just seen Cypher cook a nade, being ready to toss it into E-Box, a swing comes in from PSK, downs the nade player, the nade gets dropped, and because, of course, they were all trapped in blue, what happens? A double nade kill. 3 kills for the price of 1, pretty much for PSK.
It's a shame as well, because it was going so well for Empire at a time. We can see this is almost seconds before Disaster really leading up to everything here. Cypher, he throws the nade. It's actually going to hit Zafia. It's going to hit Dan in the back. Then the swing comes through. PSK able to capitalize on that. The nade obviously dropping to the floor and doing the rest.
I thought it was PSK killed him, but no, it was just Empire. Just... I mean...
I think that's just how muddled up they were, though. They'd gone for the rush, and they'd immediately been stopped because of the Goyo shield. Now, the Goyo shield there should have been droned out. It should have been known that that was there, because you can go and rush in, but then you've got the Goyo shield to try and deal with. I'm unsure and unclear as to whether it was Sexy Cake that actually detonated that shield in an attempt to save a little bit of time and to stop that flood, or if it just got taken out as part of collateral damage, someone on the side of Empire removing it, or a nade, or whatever it was. But that Goyo shield was really crucial there, and it was able there then for Liquid to just buy a ton of time off the back of it. Sexy Cake able to stay alive, PSK with a couple of nicely timed swings. Tough stuff there from Empire, and a shame because they tried to inject a little bit of pace there into that round, and it's just been removed entirely.
And I was loving it for a period. I like the fact that Empire have noticed that Liquid are a little bit weak in terms of holding the bomb site. If they get that opening engagement in towards blue, then they will have a very clean attempt at taking that. And, oh, Dan, a very early kill onto Paulu. That is a difficult angle Very, very difficult to land through that pixel, but Dan makes it happen.
Patience really paying off there for Always. He's been a standout player so far in this series. I think he was the only player to break double digits in kills over on Kafe, and already setting off his Oregon game pretty strongly as well. It's going to give control over toward that big tower and allow Empire to start pushing in from that direction. Nesk has managed to find Always there. One of two hard breaches gone. It's going to put the pressure on Empire here because now they don't have the luxury. They're not really going to be able to open up sufficiently into both Attic and the games room wall. They're going to have to choose.
Liquid going with another kitchen hold, so they do this for not only their basement site, but also for their top floor. Nesk, unlucky not to get that kill. The spray missing, and Joystick still in that great position. See if he can make anything happen. Oh, actually glides past the angle being held by PSK, and just takes a bit of time to back away now. Empire looking for potentially, I think, an Attic into double window take. I think that's what I'm kind of eyeing up. But then again, Cypher has actually rotated over to bedroom, so Empire trying to control nearly every which way you would think that you would try and attack this bomb site. They want to do it all.
This is where the lack of a Hibana is really going to start to hurt. Always getting taken out there as the first blood on the side of Empire is going to really slow this process down a lot. Attic has been opened, but Shepard has to make a full rotation now. He's still got plenty of gas, so he should be able to get through that games room wall, but it's a much trickier endeavor. PSK going to be at the bottom of these laundry stairs, threatening now on the flank. 2 drones left for Empire here. He's very unlikely to be caught out here on this drone. It would be quite unfortunate if that was the case. So he's just biding his time, waiting to strike.
PSK waiting the call from his team to make his way up the stairs. Empire getting a little bit choked out with those toxic babes. Cypher's been able to walk into the bomb site. Moringa, oh, he does fabulous inside of the Attic, and PSK on cleanup duty as well. Oh, Liquid, they let Empire walk on in because they know everything's on lock.
Everything well and truly on lock. Losing Always, losing the Hibana so quickly. It was always going to be a difficult task there for Empire, and they spent so much time doing not a lot. We saw Joystick waiting on those armory stairs for what felt like an eternity. PSK, the patience of a saint there inside of that round. Picked his moment beautifully, picks up a double in the dying few stages. 15 seconds, that was always on the clock when Empire started to walk on through. It was a push that was coming through single doorways. It was always going to end in that fashion.
10 seconds left. Attackers have located
Liquid, extremely strong. You have to give credit. I mean,
oh, they lined up
quick
beautifully.
turnarounds, you know, just, yeah, everything working for him. Liquid, good hold, and that's 2-0. And Empire almost falling into that same trap that they were the last time on Kafe. They're giving Liquid these rounds. Ollie, Liquid, a team, if they have that momentum and they know they're going to win a game, they will win it. It's very rare that we would see Liquid ever really choke matches. I think whenever they win it clean, and whenever they lose, they just lose. You know, there's no, okay, they look as if they were winning, and then they get reverse sweep. That very rarely happens to a team like Liquid.
It was demonstrated in the first map there, Demo. You know, Kafe, it wasn't going their way and toward the end, and they took that tactical time out. They were able to hit that reset button, and they are a team that can, you know, mentally reset quite quickly. I think you don't see them down bad for long. Particularly, you know, over the course of this competition, we've seen them have, you know, an upset here or there, and that's ultimately how they found themselves inside of this lower bracket. But usually they are able to pull on through. That's going to be massive. Traded instantly, as is the Liquid fashion. No kill gets let go for free. Joystick will be taken down there, but he does manage to take Palu. Palu's struggling to get involved in terms of kills inside of this game, but it matters not. One of Nesk's best games in recent memory is, in fact, on this map.
PSK using Impact. See if he can deny access to that Attic.
In position to knock it down.
Makes a rotate as well, so Empire going directly in from dining and looking for a kitchen take. Usually, I think for EU standard of play, we see a lot more of the big tower be pressured. Teams will take in towards tier 3, open up the meeting walls, and then it's pretty easy, I think, just to kind of walk and go for a plant. Very difficult for defenders to challenge those long angles, but no, Empire going across the grain and going somewhere else.
It can be a difficult approach to make as well because you need to take that vertical control a lot more thoroughly. That's kind of demonstrated here as Sexy Cake. He's got a line onto the breach that's going to be getting opened, or at least attempted. Even hits them with a little bit of an impact trick. Always hasn't got any more X-Kairos pellets, so I mean that hole really isn't going to provide all too much of an angle. Dan now looking to push in upstairs along with Shepard and try and force these roamers out. It's going to be both Nesk and Sexy Cake playing in that area. Scyther joining the fray as well. Looking to create a little bit of a pinch here, but they need to time this perfectly. If you give these players the opportunity, very quickly going to be able to pick you off. Nade being cooked there by Shepard. That's going to go on in and just destroy a little bit of utility. Lifeline as well coming out from Dan. Nice nade there tossed over into the attic, and it is going to do the job. Sexy Cake, though, finds himself too. He's managed to take down both Scyther and Dan there, and is looking for the third. Shepard, the diffuser carrier, with 30 seconds left, is going to be on this top floor. And it just feels as though Liquid know where he is. He's going to start to get pressured a little bit here by Sexy Cake because he knows he's doing nothing but wasting time here, and that is perfect. Pre-fire shots come in. Sexy Cake anticipating the second swing, but will drop himself back all the way into the freezer. Look maybe for a rotate and try and challenge onto the white stairs. Shots coming in vertically onto Always as he is likely going to fall here. Moringa securing that down. There's Toxic Babe canisters yet remaining as Shepard desperately drops on into sight. No time left to do anything with Liquid there. 3 clean rounds on Oregon.
Sexy Cake having a blind river around all. He gained 2 kills and also being able to escape the kids and still keep himself in the game. Liquid, another round for them, which has looked dominant again. Empire, I'm lost for words. What is it with this team on Oregon where they just cannot find even just any stable foothold? Everything that they're trying to go for, it seems like a bit of a grasp. It's not something that they're holding firm. Something that can easily be hit away from them, and that's what's happening.
Even with the opening pick inside of that round, it wasn't enough because of how quickly it was traded off. It was just nullified instantly. And I think in that instance, Empire need Joystick to clear out that roam game more than Liquid need Palu to harass that roam game, because we saw just how much work both Moringa and Sexy Cake were able to do on their own. Now, we've seen a tactical timeout here from Empire. I don't believe they used theirs inside of Kafe. They're going to use one here and now on Oregon. As they've lost 3 rounds, they've seen 3 sites, they know what they're going to expect now, and they need to try and come up with a strategy and a plan. To be fair to Empire, we haven't seen them execute anything onto the downstairs site. A rush can't be classed the same as you would an execute. We can't take that and say, that's how they want to try and play this round. So they're going to be able to discuss, they're going to be able to figure out what's going wrong in the other 2 sites, bring a little bit of the laundry into the conversation as well, and just figure out how they are now going to approach this. Because at the moment, Liquid, they're not only tearing away with this map, but they're tearing away with the series.
Empire do know that if they lose this game, they're out. This is where their road will come to an end. They need to give everything that they have. Don't sit there and think, oh, we're going to save something for the next game. Focus on this game. You're not going to get to the next game if you don't win this one. So give us the Empire that we know. The Empire who took everyone by storm inside of Group A. We had very little expectations, and they surprised all of us. Why are they reverting back to that EUL form? Where is the Empire on LAN?
Now is the time for them to show up. Currently 3 rounds down on Oregon, an entire map down as Liquid took Kafe 7-4. Do or die time here for Empire to try and give us something. They don't need a lot here. Let's just stress that, Demo. They don't need much more than a 2-4 split. That would be commendable. That could be enough for them to be able to take this map and to take us onto Coastline. We're not asking for them to come out with 6 flawless attacking rounds. We just need to see some sort of a response. A 3-3 would be a dream at this moment in time.
Basement, once again for Liquid. They've done a full rotation. They have defended their free picked bomb sites. The only one that they did not go for is the dining and kitchen site. And they're going to go back downstairs. So last time we were here, Empire went for a bit of an audacious push in through blue, a 5-man push in through blue, and there was a missed nade, and it cost them 2 players. So, Empire, hopefully Lightning doesn't strike twice for them. They will have an easier time. But I don't think that same rush will happen, Ollie. That's one thing me and you have talked about in depth, especially from a team such as FaZe, who like going for those quick, aggressive rushes. It doesn't work twice.
I mean, we say that, yet both hard breaches are currently stacked up outside of blue. And you just worry that we're going to see a similar result again. Flash is going to go out to stun and burn any of the ADSs. Nade gets tossed on through as well. Always now just going to be holding the small angle into electrical box as the drones start to work ahead. There is going to be another shield played on 90, albeit this time a little bit further back.
Yes, great placement.
Goyo shield just at an off angle onto the door. It's enough to provide cover with the ADS, but eventually will be burnt as well. Dan now able to provide pressure from these stairs. This is already looking a lot better from Empire.
Yeah, this is by the book. This is what we expect from teams attacking onto this basement. A lot of utility in towards that blue. It's much tougher to gain control of your setup compared to if you're going for a freeze or laundry take, but the execute is much easier for teams. It's well worth the utility and the time, and probably a bit of frustration as well. Getting rid of Elbow is a very difficult position, and PSK swings for all he's worth. Eliminates Shepard. Also, that backstairs getting pressured by Empire, but they've decided to rotate away and perhaps move over to the E-box hatch. But look at the position of PSK. He is still in that position that he can cause mayhem from. He's peeking again. He wants these kills. Sexy Cake as well has moved into a better position. Hatch isn't even open. Empire, what are they trying to go for? Dan has now made a reckless attempt of pushing by himself towards Laundry, but that's going to be an easy shutdown. Liquid just have to hold the angles and stall out Empire.
Finally, that hatch is getting open now at around the 30-second mark, but it feels like too little too late. Joystick going to try and push his way down these rear stairs. Nesk, he's able to take down Always. Screw that, he finds a second onto Joystick. Sexy Cake comes in as well. Palu will find the final frag. Only Dan able to respond, but it's just nowhere near enough. Liquid, another solid hold, and Empire, another questionable attack.
Are they speaking to each other? Why is that hatch not open? We see 2 players on the back stairs, and they ran away, Ollie, because there was a simple Banshee. Yet they have a Sophia right beside Joystick. He is an Ashe. I don't understand.
There's some bad coordination there going on.
I don't know. And then Dan thinks, oh yeah, I'll just push Laundry by myself and get nothing.
We saw, I mean, we were concerned initially when we saw both hard breaches stacked up there outside of blue, because already that tells you that the hatch isn't going to get opened at all, and if it will do, it's going to be very late. Empire tried to come in with quite a dynamic push there toward the end, but it was just nowhere near enough. I don't think anyone on the side of Liquid felt any significant pressure there. Four clean rounds here. It's Oregon, it's the defense. I still think we've got reason to be worried here for Empire. They're just not showing us that level of coordination.
PSK and Nesk in that scenario just peeking whatever they want, knowing that Empire not in any positions to get the refrags. I mean, Nesk getting that double kill with the Scorpion, Ollie. He's not a one-trick. He can play anything and kill you, which is always great to see from Liquid. And I think out of every team here, Liquid are the team that can adapt to any operator. It's something that we looked at and highlighted. 3 of their players have Jaeger as their main operator. They can play everything. We see the changes. Everyone's playing this operator, then he's playing that operator. The only one I think doesn't really change is Moringa on Smoke, but then again, your Smoke player is a necessity, and you would expect one guy to solely main that. But everyone else, they don't care what operator's on, they'll kill you. They don't care.
Even then, Moringa will have a Jaeger round, and Sexy Cake will play the Smoke, and it'll all just get juggled around. The guys really do have a lot of fun just switching it all up, and we
high flex players, like that's what we're dealing with.
We're dealing with a dead Dan, I'm afraid, as Palu is going to find an opener with the C4. Just into tier 1 there, as he's able to gain some early intel. Losing the Zafir this early on as well, it's only going to hurt you, really, isn't it? It's another kill that goes unresponded to. I think back to whenever Liquid get the opening frag, it rarely gets traded. Whenever Empire get the opening frag, it gets traded. Liquid are never down for long in terms of that man advantage.
Empire what are you thinking? I see the diffuser stacked up outside towards the kitchen area, towards dining, perhaps a double window jump, and I don't know what Empire could pull out. It could literally be anything at this stage. It seems to be that they're actually going to try and take in towards kitchen now, and they're actually going to try and challenge Nesk. This is an area that they did not want to aggress onto. They tried to see what was happening. Then they quickly switched up their ideas and went for an attic plus trophy push, just trying to walk in. It didn't work out for them again, and that's probably because they did not eliminate Nesk from this position. Now they've realized that he was a bit of an issue, and they're going to try and make an attempt on top of him. I don't really know how Empire are going to deal with Moringa above covering him, because that's always going to be scary. With that hatch being open, it gives Nesk that cover. If I'm Empire, you try and pressure that corridor that leads directly into the server.
Joystick instead going to start to pressure at the top of White Stairs. He's able to deal some chip damage, but it is not enough to stop Moringa. He's able there to take down 2 in Always and Shepard. The kills keep coming here for Liquid. And Scyther, well, he has to go huge. Moringa, another Toxic Babe canister. 2 Toxic Babe canister kills inside of 1 round. And as quickly as it started, it was all over again here for Empire.
5-0. Empire have not even turned up to this game. This has been a strat session for Liquid.
Well, Liquid have still got a job to do in closing this one out. 5 clean rounds, looking to make it 6. They're going to go down to Meeting in Kitchen again, no doubt. Palu with the opening C4 there. I'm wondering if that information came off a Valkyrie camera, you know, because there was a Valkyrie inside of that round. The round was over almost too quickly for us to really deep dive into it. But Sexy Cake played on the Valkyrie. He had a camera downstairs for Nesk, and Nesk was able to gain so much off that information. I wonder if that first frag or first C4 was down to that Moringa played a blinder as well.
Yeah, you can get a Valkyrie camera if you toss it outside a kid's window. You can actually toss it far enough and it will cover the big tower repels as well as the kid's window, which I'm sure is probably what you would want to cover off if you bring that Valkyrie. And again, just shows how strong Valkyrie is with that information, especially to help out Nesk. In that position for Nesk, he's very much by himself. Yeah, one man. You need to try and support him as much as you can. The positioning from Liquid were great, being able to get those trades off that. We've tried to push and say, Liquid, they do not let the man advantage get to them. They are always keeping it as even as they can. And Empire just struggling against that. Liquid looking like the team who will move on into the next stage. And Empire looking like the team who will be the next one to leave.
Certainly a shame here for Empire to go down so far on Oregon after they came in so strongly from the previous game into this one against Liquid. We saw both these teams storm their way through the lower bracket 2nd round, now into the lower bracket 3rd round, and it's kind of been no contest for Liquid inside of this one. You know, 5 clean rounds. They've not even been close, Demo. There's been multiple. I don't think we've seen a single 1 versus 1 inside of this game, have we?
No.
Not even come down to that.
There has not been anything that Empire have had that we thought, oh yeah, that could have been their round. It has not been pretty for them. Can they still pull it back? 5-1. I've seen it before. Never say die Ollie for Team Empire. They can easily themselves pull back a bit of momentum and sweep Liquid, but that is a very big ask from them. They need to get this round a 5-1. It is doable. A 6-0. Never pretty. So, Empire, how will they attack this setup? Last time it was very heavy in towards kitchen, and then they had around about like the final minute mark, they decided to try and take above also. Sexy Cake played extremely well in that position, picking up 2 kills, and surely not, yeah, I was about to say, no way Paulu gets misdroned in that scenario. He quickly drops down from that attic hatch. Empire have no interest in Big Tower once again, still sticking to their guns and saying, we will try and take above and then go for that kitchen.
I'm really surprised to see no one play in this big window, you know, because Sexy Cake plays in this exact location. He played it here the last round, and he's playing it here and now again. Well, I guess you don't need to play the big window if you're going to send Joystick on in. Able this time to gain the kill onto Sexy Cake, who previously had a massive impact in holding this top floor. It could give a little bit of an edge here to Empire. Unusually for Liquid, that kill hasn't been instantly traded. But we are going to see players looking to retreat, namely Moringa. He gets himself out of kitchen and just backs off into meeting ever so slightly. We've got Dan holding the crossfire in toward flags as well, but Nesk kind of holding the cross onto him. Nesk almost looks like he's getting itchy feet as he feels like he wants to start moving around and maybe going for a little bit of a swing, and he'll swing directly into Dan there. This is much better here from Empire. They've managed to find 3 clean kills here, and they've still got 25 seconds to look to execute.
Empire, finally a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Palu and PSK have a big ask for them now. 2 versus 5, diffuser being planted as well. Static not wanting to move. Oh, a great shot from Palu. More of those please if we can. PSK with that LMG creeping in. But 2 players rotating above, and that long angle by Shepard from the breach is enough to send PSK on his way. And Palu, 30 seconds, 4 players to find, and the other bomb site starting to get picked off now. It's a bit of damage. Oh, almost got the headshot. Were you getting excited for that one, were you?
It just looks clean, doesn't it? It would have been a very clean kill, but Empire deservedly get themselves around there. Much better for them on that roam clear. 3 clean kills, getting the plant down, getting that advantage and keeping a hold of it. It took them long enough to find an attacking round there. It took them right up until round number 6, in fact. Now we see the sides switch, and Empire have a mountain to climb.
Exactly right, Ollie. That opening kill for Empire was so needed. Dan, I think, was in a great position by himself, that kind of lone wolf mentality. There always is one lone wolf. No matter what it is, there's always one person who will sit and wait for the kills to come to him. That's exactly what happened for Dan, being able to catch out Liquid on the rotations. And Liquid, I think, today have been great, being able to be in the right place at the right time. On that situation, though, it was Empire in the right place at the right time. They have that man advantage. Liquid not being able to come back from that one. You know, Liquid, of course, we know they have the clutch potential, but that was a big ask from a player such as PSK, who we've seen a lot of clutches from him yesterday.
We did. He had 2 1v3s.
In the exact same position.
Still a chance here for Empire to try and streak some rounds on the defense. The more that they're able to gain here before Liquid get onto that match point, I feel the better. Because it is a game of momentum. Empire haven't looked so hot over the course of this series as a whole. They picked themselves up and dusted themselves off during the middle part of Kafe, but they've got to do a heck of a lot more than that here and now. They need some clean rounds. They need to find that consistency, those kills, everything that they've been lacking. I'd quite like to see them just play patiently, Demo, especially on this site. I don't think that it's necessary to get themselves out there and to aggress. They need to just try and play into these power positions. Unfortunately, that looks like what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they've done that. And Liquid, straight away, with their pre-placed drones, they've got complete control of that mid-floor instantly. They've now going to lock off the rotations. Those staircases will not be for use for Empire this matchup, but I think as expected, especially for Laundry, this bomb site is a very close comparison to what we see on Clubhouse, where we see the basement down there. Very rare we would see a strong room game coming out from the defenders. And you're more than likely going to have your set positions and establish that utility dump. I know that we talked about the utility meta and how that's, you know, something that died a long time ago, it feels like, but for this bomb site, that is still very much a strategy that we see a lot.
It's less of a dump and more a coordinated throw, I think. You've got to know where you're trying to deal with that utility. There could be a shield here, there could be a shield there. You've got to get your drones in and figure all of that out. Shepard playing quite aggressively here, not playing behind the deployable shield instead. I think, yeah, like you say, just trying to starve Liquid of information here. Still got 6 drones left, so there's plenty of opportunity to gather that intel. But they've moved so quickly that they've given themselves so much time. Both of the hatches are open. There's players now stacking up on these rear stairs. Always is going to start to get pinched quite soon as well, as Palu now takes up that mantle and uses this electrical hatch. He can, of course, throw his grenade down there as well, as he does still have 1 remaining. Toxic Babe canisters now being burnt, and Nade maybe is going to get rid of that shield, just not quite far enough. That's going to give Shepard a massive edge here in this engagement. He's still going to be able to peek from around that shield. Palu above, he may be looking to try and drop into the hatch, but Liquid are desperate for any sort of in here. They just need a little smidgen of an opening. Got a ping and some information. Palu Really tempted to get that nade on out there, but for the time being is going to hold on. A goo mine on the stairs could be a little bit problematic there for Nesk. He tries to deal with that with the breaching round. Always could be seeing some aggression here as he's looking for a bit of a swing, but still we are waiting for the push. Now it comes on through. Palu makes the nade land. PSK a headshot onto Always. All the kills are coming up here for Liquid. Sexycake's been down, but he's going to be picked up. Joystick goes massive. We needed that from him, but no, he will be shut down as well. Scyther now left with it all to do. 11 seconds left. 1 versus 2. Lots of damage put in there onto Palu, but the plant will be going down by Moringa. A pre-placed C4 will not land, unfortunately, for Scyther, and this is now a post plant. Getting swung from here and there, Palu will fall. The diffuser, I'm not sure if its location is known. He pushes on through, but Moringa with the cover. Liquid, they put themselves onto a match and series point here on Oregon.
Liquid, aggressive take into the bomb site, picking up their kills almost for Empire. Into a 1 versus 1, probably the closest round that we have had this entire series. But Empire, it got close. Finally, it got close. But it was not close enough for them to secure that round. Honestly, almost Liquid as well, losing it down to, I think the sledgehammer actually stuck out from the sledge. I don't know if you noticed that, but it's one thing you have to worry about if you're a sledge, that the sledgehammer is actually taller than the Sledge himself. So almost cost them, but Liquid are there to pick it up, and especially Moringa. He's playing extremely well so far inside of this matchup, just being that rock for Liquid that you can always rely on.
You got a feel for Joystick in that instance. He comes out huge from Pillar, swinging and wailing onto Liquid. Found himself to, could have very easily been a third if he'd just flicked a little bit sooner, and I think Moringa it was that took him down, just maybe wasn't anticipating him from that position. But again, it goes to show this coordination and communication that we see on the side of Liquid. Kills rarely go untraded.
6-1. 5 rounds from Empire is what's needed to keep them in the matchup and get to overtime. Liquid need 1 round from them. Big difference. Liquid have 5 attacks. How will they play this one? Same bomb site again for Empire into that basement. What changes will they make? No roam game once again, which will give Liquid that early advantage, being able to sweep in, quickly establish their control on the staircases. They have the Nomad for that reason, and then they can start setting up their control. Hatch will be opened up, then we'll see the blue come in. Just run-of-the-mill stuff from Liquid, not trying to do anything fancy, just sticking to what works.
Sexycake gone for the knock.
I'm guessing late laundry or potential late freezer. I think that would be my go-to for both of them if he was going to go for one. Probably freezer would be the biggest because you have a camera in freezer, and typically if somebody is dead from Empire, they will sit in freezer cam, and a lot of teams will just leave that since they have the default up, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Sexycake moves in now. Backs away. There was a drone following, but since he is invisible, Ashley's going to take out the camera. Okay, wasn't going to go for the sneaky play. Instead, an entry knock is what they're going to be playing.
It works in terms of denying a little bit of that information. It keeps Empire guessing and keeps them starved. They do have mirror for intel, but
Are they going freezer take?
no cameras. They haven't got a Valkyrie, they haven't got the Echo, they haven't got the Maestro. There's nothing really for them to work off there. Could be a slightly different take coming in, but Liquid gathering that information from the safety of meeting. Empire choosing again not to roam, not to get themselves out there. Air jabs will be down now, so first floor going to be very safe place to be here for Liquid as Sexycake looks to make another rotation.
It's a blue take.
It's going to be the same take. I think you're right, Demo. There's going to be an option maybe to go through freezer if required, but immediately the pressure is going to come through blue. Sexycake there, just looking to try and destroy that Banshee, but it will be soaked up by the ADS.
The diffuse carrier is always a big indication of where a team are going to try and attempt to come in from. Since we see PSK rotate over with the diffuser to blue, that in my mind leads me to believe that we will see a blue take. Empire, they lost it the last time. To be fair, I mean, Elbow didn't have the greatest of holds from Liquid. It was easily retaken by Empire. It was more towards Pillar that Liquid really focused on, and that's where Empire struggled with. But 30 seconds to go. This is going to have to be a fast one, and Empire need to try and hold on. There goes the flashbangs. There is goo mines as well to try and slow them down. There goes the nade, and the Toxic Babe takes a lot of damage away from Sexy. Here's the shotgun as well, and he's going to move in, but Shepard has the SMG in hand, trying to keep his team inside, and actually a late rotation from Paulu. Could that be enough to cause an issue? No, Joystick is there to shut it down. PSK swings in with 5 seconds to go. Liquid need to try and get this diffuser down. So many goo mines go off as well. Cypher playing close. He gets eliminated by Moringa. Diffuser being planted. Empire, are they going to retake? Yes, they will. They keep their heads in the game. One more round for Empire. 6-2. Liquid running out of time.
The push there just coming in a little bit too slow from Liquid. There was a lot for them to deal with, a lot for them to wade on through, and some opening engagements that didn't go in their favor. Once again, we see Joystick picking up a couple of very important kills there, able just to flip the switch and to give that advantage back to Empire when they needed it the most. Tough stuff for Empire here. They've got such a mountain to climb still. And Team Liquid, they only need to gain one more round here to take the series. Shepard's played that round beautifully from elbow.
It's a big engagement he had to win, 100%. I mean, if you give that control away to Liquid, you're going to be cooked. I think Joystick as well played a big part, being able to kill Paulu as he was looking for a freezer drop. That played a big part. If Paulu was in that position of 4 versus 4, he could have picked up a few, maybe 1, 2 kills, and that could have completely changed the dynamic. Seems like we will be having a bit of a technical pause, perhaps, as yes, we will be. So, bit of time now, Ollie, to chill out and see how this game will finish out. For the most part, I think Liquid, sure, they've dropped that one attack, but we can also make that comparison to whenever they were playing Kafe. They lost a couple of defenses, but they still pulled out. They have that buffer.
When you're at a 6-2, you can afford to lose a couple of rounds. You know, we talk about momentum and we talk about all that sort of stuff. It does play a factor, but for Empire still, it's a massive task to be able to pick up 4 flawless rounds here without giving one away to Liquid, especially with the way that we've seen them both play. We are back into the game as we have had a decision on the rehost and it has been postponed for now. Empire looking to defend upstairs.
This is a good bomb site for Liquid to attack as well. I think for Liquid, they're great at being able to trap defenders in the bomb site. You will see them target a lot of different angles. You'll see rotations onto the double window, which I think, for me, is something that Empire really lacked on their kids' attack, was any pressure in double window. Just at all. You know, you pointed out whenever Sexy Cake was up there for their kitchen holes, double window would have been a great position to shut him down, but it just was not targeted. You will find Liquid, they will try and find any which angle they can. There is once again this downstairs hole that Liquid attempted, and Empire will also go for that. It kind of stops the pressure that perhaps like a buck, if it was brought, could have applied into, and also it can give you a lot of different angles that you can defend the bomb site from below in many ways. That's actually the way that Old Oregon used to play. Kitchen was everything back then. A pulse inside a kitchen, back in kid's bedroom with the double windows. Oh my word, Wallbang City.
PSK going to get in now and look to try and open up the wall. So I think, is he going for something fancier, Dan? Was he going to try and remove the top bar of the reinforcement? All the wood has been taken on out of there, so...
Oh, I think I might know why. It's basically, it cuts out the entire reinforcement, the same way that you would do with like the Maverick trick. I think this was a Macy J technique.
Attackers recovered the
Good stuff there from Liquid, getting the games room wall open relatively quickly. You know, they've spent 2 minutes doing it, but they've done it at little to no cost. Neska's seen some damage from below. He's essentially just going to be holding Always here and just trying to make sure that Always isn't going to be able to have an impact when the time is right. Paulu with a nade on through. He's going to get the down over onto Dan. Dan did toss out his C4, but it did not land. A C4 from below, going to swing and miss, as the diffuser is in the hands of Sexy Cake. Dan is still down, but could potentially be revived here.
Look at Paulu in the rotational ollie. He has now moved from double window over to kids. This is Liquid. They pressure every single angle. Cypher has eliminated PSK. It is a 4 versus 4. Nest has just seen Joystick walk past his screen, and it has meant that Sexy Cake has been eliminated because of that. Nesto still trying to hunt. Diffuser cold on the ground. Shepard finds another, and Empire, Ollie, seem as if they're ready for another round. They still have more in the tank. Another round burned through for Liquid. Time, once more, getting the better of them.
The machine is not out of gas just yet, Demo. They are keeping chugging on. Every round that they are able to achieve here is one step closer to taking us to OT, potentially one step closer to taking us to our decider of Coastline. Liquid looked slow there. They were able to get the wall open, but it came at the 50-second mark. That isn't ideal. There wasn't a great deal of pressure coming through Attic. We can see that demonstrated there with how Scyther is able to just play and swing onto players that are on the Kids Repel. White Stairs was a bit of a point of contention as well. You can't afford to not pressure Attic.
Yeah, Liquid missing a few pieces. Usually if you're going for that take as you move in towards Generator, typically we see that Attic be pressured, which was not the case for Liquid. And honestly for Empire also, not wanting to take Attic, which is for me usually quite a big part of the round. We see a lot of holds be kind of made or broken down from Attic depending on how well the defender inside of Attic plays. So yeah, strange to see. Empire though, this has forced them onto their third bomb site. Will be the dining and kitchen, not the meeting, which is what Liquid primarily played for. And they also, like Liquid, will be above inside of Kids. Kids seen a lot of playtime on these third pick bomb sites, and well, I think it's for the correct decision. Whenever kitchen is the bomb site for both of them, it's going to make a lot of sense.
It's a big round here for Empire, because if they're able to get a win down here, then they've given us the clean sweep. They've given us the rotation there inside of Oregon, and they can look to start to repeat that process, go through the motions and find themselves onto that match point. We talk about the advantage that Liquid have got here. It does dwindle, and it dwindles quite quickly, especially when the frustration of not being able to convert starts to set home. So, a big round required. They're going to take control of Office for the time being. Dan going to be playing some long angles, as he's got a chance there at some pot shots onto the doorway. Liquid very focused in their approach.
So what are the differences between this hold, which is going to be that dining and kitchen, compared to Liquid whenever they went for the meeting? Well, of course, the big one is going to be the bomb site choice, with dining being much more closer to the small tower, whereas meeting was closer to the big tower. You will see a lot more action towards that west side of the map. One thing that I think Empire have going in their favor for this bomb site, and it's probably the reason why I like it a lot more, is Showers is extremely difficult to take control of if you're an attacker. There's a lot of different angles you need to worry about with the advancements of how impact tricking has developed. Trying to go for any Habana pellets on the shower wall is going to be shut down. Interesting take, though, from Empire. Giving that Showers control over to Liquid, but then also reinforcing up the other wall. So now Showers has just become a box. Liquid don't get anything from it. And Empire, well, they've managed to gain a bit of defense. Dan, a great swing, and Nesk is off the board with a minute to go. They have that first kill, Ollie, which has been the important thing for Empire. So they have the first kill. Liquid are down a man. They don't have that same rotation that they can establish. And also, once again, that dominant effect of time.
Importantly as well, Nesk was actually trying to clear the bulletproof camera there, and that bulletproof will remain. Got taken out before he could fire the launcher. So there's still a camera there, and we can see that getting Z-pinged out here by the drones on the side of Liquid. With Showers being reinforced by some pocket reinforcements, it's made things very difficult here. Dan going for a bit of a rotation. We've seen some aggression maybe here as he looks to hold onto long corridor. Joystick going to be playing there as well. Liquid seemingly don't know which way to turn here. Only 25 seconds left. They're going to have to make some sort of a push. Sexy Kid going to make some lines of sight, but that isn't going to cut the mustard, I'm afraid, at this point. Joystick with a swing. He's going to be able to find a ton of damage. Another swing coming in from Moringa as he does take down Joystick. The kill's now starting to come on in. Dan getting caught in the back. Sexy Cake, he has to try and get this plant down now. We have got some vertical pressure, but the kills are messy. Shepard, he's pushing in. The plant will be secured. Pre-fire shots go down, and Palu takes a chunk of damage. Scyther now coming in from this small tower. How much information do Liquid have here? They have enough to gain a kill onto Shepard. A C4 is going to be tossed on out, but it will not land. An air jab, that's not what you want to see if you are Scyther in this clutch situation. maybe has an idea as to where the plant has gone down, but you can see he is starved for intel. Making his way upstairs with only 19 seconds left, it is looking like this is all said and done for Empire. They are going to struggle dearly here. 11 seconds goes for the drop. It is not enough. Sexy Cake finds the final kill. Liquid, they gain the game and the series here against Empire, and they advance through this lower bracket.
Liquid knocking out EU's last hope. Every European side is now eliminated from the 6th Invitational, and LATAM once